For some reason, I forgot to talk about this. Thank you to our final patrons, Strawbones, Redwood4765, and a Midnight Gemlord. Now, if you come to this breakdown / discussion on the enigma that is Despair Percy, please leave your own thoughts on Despair Percy in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure to hit that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. You can support for as low as $1 a month. Exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, let's hop into the discussion. What's up, guys? Uncle Pencil here, and here we are to discuss Despair Percy and how he appeared, disappeared, and no one talked about it. Like, no one, after he healed Kion's arm, it was like water under the bridge. And I get it. A lot of stuff happened quite immediately after that. But still, it was a bit strange. So, the big thing about Despair Percy that makes me wonder if we're going to see him again anytime soon is the conditions that were met for Despair Percy to exist. And, you see, those conditions were all of his homies getting dropped like maggots, dropped like flies. Like, they straight up all had to hit the ground, and the last thing Percival heard was, I'm sorry, Percy. And then, bada bing, bada boom, we met maybe the strongest. I'm not sure, because reasonably, he isn't. Like, Despair Percy, while being extremely powerful, actually wasn't that powerful. Like, Tristan was pretty nonchalantly able to body bag him. Like to the point where he didn't need Demon Mark, he didn't need any, like, fancy stuff. He was kind of just standing there, smacking him up. I just triple checked, and yeah, he doesn't even actually activate his goddess eyes. He just activates 4 goddess wings, and he's able to pretty much bully Despair Percy. And admittedly, this is Percy before a lot of amps he gets later on in this very arc. But still, the fact that he's that weak is a little concerning. But what we're not necessarily concerned here is his raw power, because obviously it will be higher now that Percy has gotten stronger. What we're actually concerned about is, 2 things: his abilities and his mindset. And I think the most interesting thing to tackle first is not actually his abilities, but actually his mindset. And the thing about Despair Percy is that he goes from, I'm sorry, Lancelot, there's no way I could ever slaughter this person who came to slaughter us and all my friends who I care about. I could just never do it. It's not, I shouldn't slaughter people, even though I absolutely wiped Talisker from the face of this planet. I just couldn't do it. I'm sorry, Lance, but I don't care if it comes back to haunt us later and you have to reveal yourself that you're actually Sin, or no, backwards. I'm sorry that you're actually Lance and not Sin. My apologies, Lance. I just can't do it. I'm going to slaughter everything you know and love, and I took your friends on, but I will take your throat. Like, bro was a definitive cold-blooded life taker. Like, legitimately didn't flinch, didn't care. Like, if we would be free of Jade if Percival had been like 2 seconds faster. Like, if bro was just a little bit quicker, Jade's throat gone. And now, don't get me wrong, I am far from a biologist. So I need my biologist in the comments. I know we got a dentist down there. I need my biologist in the comments. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I don't think you can breathe through a mummified throat. So Jade would have been done, son. And Percy didn't care. Like, straight up. Bro hit that despair, and he just didn't care. So he was going to throw these people into the afterlife after throwing them into the, like, legitimately. Bro was on a different kind of level of violence. And I think that's interesting. Mainly because this is the most where it hit me, like, Percival can't be one person. Like, I don't know, the mindset shift was too meaty. It was too quick. Like, admittedly, Percy has been in rough situations before, but never, like, even when he was fighting the person who he wants revenge on more than anyone in the world, his father, he didn't go on, like, yeah, I want to literally tear you limb from limb. He never got that far. He was, Daddy, you're a mean stupid head for hurting Grandpa like that. I'm gonna hurt you real bad and make you apologize. Yeah, the moment the Percy platoon got put in the pack, he was the one to put everybody in the pack. Like, if Tristan wasn't there, I'm pretty sure a good chunk of the Kingdom of Leonis gone. Meliodas would have had to step in. Like, legit. Well, Lance probably would have shown up and been like, whoa, hold on a second. I felt this from the other side of the kingdom. I need to come stop this. But legitimately, bro went on a slaughter spree with no care. And that's such like, Talisker still I think Nakaba should have established it earlier. Like, if he was gonna do it, he should not have had Percy smack Talisker in the face with a super mega crazy attack that definitely wiped Talisker out if it wiped out a portion of that mountain. But with the Percy that was established just 10 chapters before, Percy should not have been so ready. Like, the dichotomy shift of 10 chapters ago. Oh yeah, I can't slaughter a guy named the Carrion Eater. And if you know what carrion is, that's disgusting. But you know who I can slaughter? Holy Knights. And I will do it with a smile. Well, to be fair, we don't see his face. That's another thing. We're going to have to talk about the design. But simply on a mindset front, it was like 180 is an understatement. That was a full 360 whiplash. Like, my neck gone on a rotation on how quick Percy hit that spin move on him to try and get them all up out of here. And personally, I understand. Percy is a character who, once I get to his analysis video on his whole character, is a character who is very afraid of being alone. Like, you can tell, even his own magic reflects his fear of loneliness. He produces other versions of himself. You kind of run into the whole Naruto thing again, where what is Naruto's primary use for shadow clones every once in a while? To have friends, to have people to interact with, because he was an outcast for so long. But Percy wasn't really an outcast, it's just that he only had his grandfather. Then his grandfather was taken away from him, and he was left alone for the first time in his life with no one he could trust. And when he finally found friends, finally found other people his age that he could connect to and relate with, he thought they were all gone. So I don't blame him for having such a drastic reaction to what he thought he witnessed was the literal death of those he cared for. He thought he lost them forever. Because, like, unlike him, they can't come back from death. They're fragile. They're human in the fullest form. So Percy absolutely flipping his lid and preparing to spin the block after losing the only people he ever connected to again. I get it. But still, the flip in mindset from I don't want to hurt people that badly and I don't want to hurt anybody permanently to I will rip out every last one of their entrails and make them all suffer for what they've done to me. Crazy. And speaking of mindset, something that comes with your mindset is language. And another strange thing about Despair Percy is that bro started spitting a different tongue. Bro was not native. Whatever it was, whatever he was speaking, even Tristan couldn't understand it. And notably, I would like to chalk this up to demon speak. Like, just straight up, Meliodas just never got around to teaching Tristan how to speak in demon tongue. Because I'm assuming it's not a natural thing. Percy picked it up quick, but I don't think it's normal for people to just immediately understand a language. And it's entirely possible. Just based on Tristan's lack of love for his demon side in general, I wouldn't be shocked if Meliodas also was just like, whatever, I'll not teach it to him. So it could just be demon speak, but it seems different. Like, even the symbols used to represent the tongue that Percy's using there is different from demon tongue. Like, I've looked at it multiple times and none of the letters match up. And to be fair, Nakaba could just be putting random symbols, but even still, it's pretty strange. And notably, it actually is just speaking. Like, he doesn't actually enact any spells when he speaks. He just speaks words in this different language. And we have no idea what they mean. No idea if they do anything. Nothing. They kind of just appear. And I think that adds to what Despair Percy mainly was meant to do, put intrigue behind Percy again. I think the biggest reason Nakaba even introduced Despair Percy when he did is because we were meeting everybody else, and Percy, at least in terms of relevancy and crazy mystery, was kind of falling behind. Like, introducing Sin as Lancelot, crazy. Very crazy, obviously. And obviously meeting the son of Elizabeth and Meliodas, two of our main characters from the previous series, also would draw attention away. And think about it. We only got introduced to Gawain, 5-10 chapters after this point? So on a narrative level, I think Percy was introduced as Despair Percy here, mainly to remind you that, hey, he is the main character, and he shall be infinitely more mysterious than every other character we have here, and you will remember that and cherish that, you fools. At least if I had to guess, like, just on a narrative level, why Nakaba would do this at such a specific time, and then make it disappear so quickly, too. We have not gotten a whiff. Like, legitimately, not only did talk about Despair Percy kind of disappear in the community, because, once again, other things happened, like, the revival, the commandments, the whole Jericho thing, the whole Guinevere thing, the whole everything that happened after this point. But there's also been no talk about it in the narrative. No one mentioned this. No one told anybody about it. There's never been a discussion about this point. We kind of just all slide it under the rug without ever pretending like it happened. And then, I guess, I'm not sure if we're hoping that it doesn't happen again, because I'm hoping that it does happen again. I want to see Percy break. And another thing I wonder about is the design of this form. Does he actually look any different? Because notably, his whole body doesn't change, except we don't know, because his whole head was covered in the darkness that Jade produces. So we don't know if his eyes or anything had any sort of definitive change. And by the time the darkness is removed, bro's crying whole tears, because he's like, oh, my homies, they're still vibing. We still living, boys. Like, that's literally the only reaction we get to see, because, he's back to normal now. But I want to know what was happening underneath that darkness, because it seems very specific, right? Like, I feel like this was a two-way thing. Not only was the darkness there so Percy couldn't see that his friends were still breathing, but also it's so we couldn't see what happened when Despair Percy happened. And I think Naga was very purposeful about sliding in Despair Percy while he's weak, while he could be handled like someone like Tristan. Obviously, I think once again, I say it every time, I think Lancelot should be able to handle Despair Percy no problem. But with that being the case, I think Nakaba sort of planted this subtle seed that lasted for really only about a chapter and a half, solved a problem to it, which was restoring the life that he took from Kion, and then left it alone. So when it comes back later, it's like what happened the first time. It's kind of like a train wreck where it just comes out of nowhere and BAM! Hits you in the face. Except now, Despair Percy, at least if it scales linearly alongside regular Percy, should be a lot more powerful. Like, you gotta remember, this Percy is weaker than a casual base Tristan, and now he should be pretty much relative to all of Tristan's, I'd say, lower forms, maybe not all of them, but some of Tristan's lower forms, and should be relative to Gawain. Even if they're stronger than him, he's still in that ballpark now. So a Despair Percy, if it is an amp, kind of goes crazy. And speaking of amps, let's actually talk about the powers of Despair Percy, or mainly lack thereof. Like, bro lost all sauce. He had nothing. Bro could do nothing. Like, straight up, compared to the bevy of abilities that are available to him with his hope abilities, yeah, his regular kit with Despair kind of just disappeared. Like, no magic enchantments, no external magic, nothing like that. He has to do everything through contact. There are no more mini Percys. Like, bro lost a lot. But he still kept some pretty important things. Number one is flight. Bro can now just fly. Like, straight levitate. Like, I forget where I read, I think Nakaba said Lance can't fly in human form, but somehow Percy can. But he's still a human, right? Just a completely regular dude, with just the most crazy magic ever. Yeah, whatever. He's just a dude. But he can fly just fine. Like, free form, in the air, chill there, floating. No propulsion, no nothing. At least the goddesses and the demons have to fake having wings. We can't see them flap because we're in a manga, and obviously the animation budget is not enough for flapping wings. But with that being the case, at least they have wings. King, we know he levitates. It's just a thing he can do. So can fairies. Alright? Giants, they don't fly. Giants never fly. I wonder if King's kid will be able to fly. He better. Now that I think about it, that's weird. I wonder are we ever going to see them? We have to travel to the fairy realm. When are we ever going to see those idiots? Not idiots, that's mean. King and Diana are cool. And their kids should probably be cool too. But when are we ever going to see them? Never? Because they can't be useful. That's the thing, that sucks. You can't even use... They got bullied so hard. Sorry, got off topic. But Percy can fly still when he's in despair. How? I don't know, despair magic, bro. It'd be like that sometimes. But that's a good ability. It's nice to still have that. To the main ability of Despair Percy, he can suck and slobber you down real good. You know what? I lose all right to critique Nakaba with the jokes I've made. But regardless, he can slurp the life out of you. That still doesn't sound... He can gobble you... No. He can drain the life from you. There you go. That's not bad. Draining the life from you, that's fine. But he can literally drain away your vitality. Like, simply through contact, he just slurps... Why are so many... See, this is the thing. so many words have lost what can be now used, but the thing is, they make for such a good joke. I don't know. But regardless, he can take your life away in just an instant by touching you. Like, straight up, all he did was take a grip of Kion's arm, and bro straight up went from 16 to 61. No, even a 61-year-old doesn't look that bad. But like straight up, he went to 155 from 16. That's some quick math right there. Like, legitimately sucked the life out of him. And the thing is, the effectiveness of this is pretty much unknown entirely. Like, Kion still seems to be able to somewhat move the arm, but notably, this is mostly where the whole designation of death comes from for Percy, I assume. Like, that main ability, the ability to slurp life out of things, yeah. And honestly, with that being the case, that's all Percy has in Despair mode. He doesn't have access to anything else. And the weird language. Once again, unless I'm missing something, it's not like he speaks any spells. But the wild thing is, he doesn't even need any more than that. Those two abilities alone are great. The only thing that sucks, though, is that he loses the ability to regenerate. Like, straight up, he takes damage from Tristan and just can't heal it off. Like, bro is literally stuck in damage. So he loses the regen, too, which is pretty bad to lose. Regen is just a really nice ability to have. And we also don't know if he has access to the pseudo-immortality anymore. Like, if Tristan actually got to step through, if the Percy platoon didn't rise up when they did, and Tristan straight up speared him, I'm not actually sure if Despair Percy could get up from that. So it seems like, in comparison to Hope, Despair is a lot weaker. Sure, we only have, a chapter and a half for Despair Percy. Meanwhile, we have, a whole series of Hope Percy. So obviously, it's entirely possible that Despair Percy, when he shows up again, if he shows up again, can and will become much stronger and much more diverse in his abilities. It's just right now, while his flight and life drain ability are really good, it's not useful enough against anyone who's fast enough to compete with him and just doesn't grab him or doesn't allow themselves to get grabbed, because he doesn't do the life absorption just through contact like some characters can. He specifically seems to need to grab you, which is why he always lunges out with his hands. So it's overall a form that I'm interested to see more of. And to end this off, I think I would like to speculate when we will see it again. And I've been sort of predicting a character will cease the living, and that's an Ossians eventually. So I'm assuming we're going to have a whole arc centered around Despair Percy, where he just loses access to his Hope powers, and he just has to stick with Despair and figure out how to use it. That whole idea seems very interesting to me. I can't wait to see it. I believe it will happen, just because I don't think Nakaba's just going to slide this one under the rug. This is very purposefully placed, and we have a whole bunch of characters that could easily be used to activate a state like this for forever. And I'm excited to see it. 2 of our 4 main characters have forms that are related to their darker emotions that we could see them fall to eventually. And Despair Percy is the one I am personally most excited to see. However, that's what I think. Please tell me what you guys think about Despair Percy in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notifications to miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also I do a Patreon down below. You can support for as low as $1 a month. Including exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks as a patron and more. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off.